likes this guy named Patrick. He's kinda pathetic, so tragic. Makes the most with the little that he has. Chasing aliens and UFOs. He lost his marbles, everyone knows. Makes the most with the little that he has. Like a paper bag, he won't last. Some say he's sensational, others say he's delusional, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's not the sharpest tool, others say he's just a tool, but most agree he fucking sucks. He goddamn for sure fucking sucks. No one likes this guy named Patrick. Super pathetic, dramatic, kinda believes in magic. Magic makes the most with the little that he has. Chasing aliens and UFOs. What's next? The moon is a hoax. Well, I kinda believe in that one myself. Anyway, back to the song. Makes the most with the little that he has. Like a paper bag, he won't last, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's sensational, others say he's delusional, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's not the sharpest tool, others say he's just a tool, but most agree he fucking sucks. He goddamn for sure fucking sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a
What's up, betters? We are live. We are live on Friday, July 10th, because the fourth tranche, I love that word, tranche of UFO files has been dropped. And I just had a feeling. And, I woke up today. I'm in Spain, so I'm many hours ahead. I live in the future, y'all. Shout out to all my European peeps. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the war.gov website. And I went to the website. There was nothing there. I said, I'm just going to keep refreshing it here. I just have a feeling. And I'm not joking. Like the second time I refreshed it, boom, it popped up. I was like, oh, shit. Here we go. So I had a feeling, a remote feeling. I don't know. And we're going to go over everything, just like we've done with the other three tranches. If you've joined us for the live streams for those, same scenario. We got videos, we got images, audio files, PDFs. I've looked through a couple things, mainly some of the PDFs, but I haven't looked at any of the videos, any of the stuff. So I'm going to react raw to it live with y'all that haven't seen it as well. So we're just going to react to it, live here. And I'm going to try to keep an open mind and try to be positive, because the last tranches have been disappointing overall. And I just, try not to let my cynicism and my bias seep in here. So we're going to keep an open mind. We're going to look at everything and see where we're at. Pretty simple. So look, let's get this started. But before we do, I have a tradition in all my live streams. It will only take, 30 seconds here. But throw in the chat where you're watching from, and I'm going to shout it out. I want to show everyone how global this topic is. So you know the drill if you've been here before. All right, we got San Diego. Hell yeah. Love San Diego. San Diego. Detroit. Bam, Detroit. Never been to Detroit. Want to go so bad. Bay Area, Chicago, Oklahoma, Slovenia, Syracuse, UK, Hot London, Portugal, Ireland, Delaware, Phoenix, Pennsylvania, Australia, UK, Michigan, Charlotte, Belgium, Georgia, New York, Cardiff, Portugal, South Carolina, London, England, Birmingham, South Africa, Syracuse, Australia, Washington State, Long Island, Ontario, Charlotte, North Carolina, Leeds, Sweden, Copenhagen, Indiana, Austria, Somerset, Fresno, Sudbury, Derbyshire, hope I'm saying the right, Derbyshire, maybe, Canada, Missouri, Indiana, Guyana, I don't know how to say that, Maine, Brisbane, another Portugal, England, Germany, look at that, Indiana, New Brunswick, Carlo, anybody in España? Vamos, come on, I'm in Spain. Netherlands, Omaha, love it, Florida, Romania, Brazil, Argentina, Jakarta, Japan, New Zealand. Look at that, y'all. Dublin, Hollywood, South Florida. Y'all, we're killing it here, right? All over the world. I love it. Philippines, beautiful. Texas, finally. Poland. Look at that. How cool is that, y'all? All right. So let's jump into this. Y'all ready to see some disclosure? Who's ready to see some disclosure? I think I am. Again, I have not looked at these, okay? So we are both, everybody's going to see this together. All right, so I've got it pulled up here, right? All right, so release 4, look at that, cleared for release July 10th, 2026. And we've got 2 pages. Oh, these are images. Okay, let me do this. So they've got it set up to where you can put it by the agency, what release, and then the types of different files, which is cool because initially when they came out, it wasn't like this. And I believe on the last drop, they started doing that. So you can separate it. If you want to go and check this out for yourself, you just go to war.gov/UFO and you'll be able to see all of this on your own if you like. All right. So now what they've started doing on the last release, and they're doing it again on this one, is that they're highlighting featured, quote, featured files. So they're sort of separating them as being better than the rest. All right. So that's not me doing that. That's them. So let's just go down the list. We got 1 full page here and then another page of videos. So we're going to start with the videos. That's what people want to see. All right. So this says the United States Indo-Pacific Command submitted a report consisting of 18 seconds of video footage from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform in 2025. So the sensor pans to track an area of contrast resembling a 6-pointed star. Okay. So it says redactions have been made to protect the identity of eyewitnesses, the location of government facilities, or potentially sensitive information about military sites not related to UAP. No redactions have been made to any files released under President Trump's directive concerning information about the nature or existence of any encounter reported as a UAP or related phenomena. All right, let's take a look at this. 15 seconds. No sound. Okay. Huh. You know what? Here, I'm going to do, just in case there's any sound. I do have my headphones, but I'm going to pop in my AirPod. That way, for it immediately. Let me make sure I have that. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see if, so what do y'all think of that? 6-pointed star. I mean, if I'm being honest, oh man, it's not good. This is a featured one, by the way. This is one they're putting at the top. That's like seems like a refraction from the camera. That's what happens when you film lights. You get these sort of reflections like this that look just like this. So again, not okay. Okay, Patrick. Woosah, baby. Woosah. Let's stay positive. Let's stay positive. It's not looking good though. But let's stay positive. All right. This is from the East China Sea in 2025. It says 5 minute consisting of 5 minutes of video footage from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform in 2025. I'm trying to see where sometimes. All right, let's just watch it. I don't know. There is no sound to this, by the way. So that looks like a balloon. It literally looks like a balloon. You can see the string hanging off or a rope or whatever. It's floating like a balloon. God, I mean, I'm not trying to say it's a balloon. I'm just saying. Does that look like an alien spaceship? Isn't that what we're here for? There's something blinking at the bottom, or if it's reflecting light. You know, the greatest thing aliens could have done is it turns out the aliens are actually balloons. They're balloon people. Like, Mick West was right and wrong at the same time. I mean, it looks like a balloon with something hanging off with probably instruments of some sort. It could be like a weather balloon, like they have these different scientific data capture balloons. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert. All right, so they're zooming in on it. They're trying to stay ahead of it. All right, hold it steady, camera guy. I mean, honestly, in this particular image, it looks like the thing at the bottom is the same size as the thing at the top. Whoa, what the? Uh, we lost it. I'm trying to look here. I don't see it. Huh. I mean, it must not have been that important if they zoomed out of this. But I don't see anything. I'm looking, I'm scanning the screen here. That could have been it. Some of these videos are like that, where they give a longer video and then it's just like a small short clip within that video, but they just released the whole thing. Which I guess for transparency is okay. It's almost like they should release two videos: the one video, the original raw video, and then the good parts. And again, this is a featured video. This is considered one of the best. There's 4 of them. All right, the last one and this one, and a couple more that I'm going to show. This is supposed to be the best videos right here. And right now, nothing is happening. Okay, maybe he's coming back to it. I think he's looking for it potentially. He or she, whatever, the person doing this. Help me out in chat. If you see something, pop it in there. Okay. Well, that was one of the best videos, y'all. That was a featured video. See that? See how they're featured? Those 2 we just saw are featured videos. Considered the best. All right, this is the Western United States. Unresolved UAP report, 1996. It's a 3-minute video. This was reported to the UAPTF, which is the same task force that Jay Stratton, David Grush worked for. It says this media was digitally altered before being reported to the UAPTF and is presented as it was received by Arrow. So it's been digitally altered. Well, I don't know how I feel about that. But let's watch it. This looks like a video game from Atari, 1982. Okay, so they're going frame by frame here. I did see something move across the screen. So again, they're going frame by frame. Good Lord. This is a featured video. There it is, right there. I mean, it could be anything. Right? I mean, people got excited about that. Again, there's no other information. They just put this out. We don't have any. I don't know anything else. Well, there's no information. There's no report. There's no nothing. We know nothing about this. And we're supposed to get excited by this? People are supposed to freak out over this? Man, we're already 3 videos in, and I've lost it. How am I supposed to remain positive? Okay, so they're zooming in on the part. There it is. What the? Dude, this is so digitally altered weird. Who did this? Again, I mean, we got 2 walnuts flying across. Like, I don't know what that is. Again, it may be easier to get excited by this. Okay, what is it? 2 black things. I mean, what, it may be easy to get excited by this if we knew more information. What are we supposed to do with this information? I mean, I want to open up one of these videos and see an alien spacecraft. You damn right I do. Are you kidding me? But again, are people getting excited by this? How could you get excited by just seeing this? You don't know anything. There's no other information with this. Bro, we got a couple almonds on the screen. Oh, it's like, that's what David Grush's task force and Jay Stratton's task force were doing. Is these kind of videos? This is what they were getting excited about. Again, let me just repeat. This is a featured video. You see that on the screen? Featured. This is featured stuff. Supposed to be the best. All right, let's keep moving on. This is Gulf of America, formerly the Gulf of Mexico. This is from 2019. And this is 8 seconds of video footage from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform. All right, 8 seconds, y'all. Let's watch that again. Again, no report, no information. We know nothing. We know nothing about this. I mean, is it just me? Am I the crazy one, y'all? Am I the crazy? Is there something I'm not seeing? I'm willing to admit that. I'm willing to admit that maybe there's something I'm not seeing. But again, what? I just don't even know what to say about it. You know, all right, saw it. Now what? Again, nothing that indicates alien spacecraft. It's 8 seconds of a thing. We don't even know what's, again, we just don't even know what's going on, right? There's no context, zero context. And again, that's a featured, right? That's the last of the featured videos, y'all. These were all featured videos. All right, let's move on to the non-featured ones, which means they're not any better. I don't know. So this is from the Middle East, 2023, 18 seconds. It's like birds. Is it the thing they're tracking, or is it the things that flew by? Let's watch that again. I'll pause it. So we got two little things that fly by, probably birds. And then they're tracking. I mean, clearly it wasn't anything important to them, or they would have tracked it, right? Because they stay on the object that they're trying to track. So clearly who's ever watching this didn't think anything about it. But again, let me just be real here. No context, y'all. There's no report. There's no nothing. There's nothing. I have no idea what's going on. Your guess is as good as mine. All right, let's keep going. This is the Middle East, again, 2023, 10 seconds. All right, looks like they're locking in on something. Whoa. Okay. That looked kind of crazy. Let's see that again. I mean, all right, that looks interesting. All right, at least we got something here. Let me see if I can. And then it shoots something off. You see that? Okay. Well, dude, at least we got something here. I'm trying to pause it. So can I move it? So it's got this red thing, but I can't tell. That red seems to match the red in the middle. And then that thing clearly shoots something off that flies by. I don't know what that is. It's got a weird shape to it too. And the thing that's filming doesn't move at all. Like, you know, I don't know. That's interesting. Is that a laser target system, guiding system? I don't know. That's at least interesting in the sense that I don't know what that is, and it at least is better than, you know, birds flying or a balloon or I don't know. It caught its own launch of a missile. Yeah, that seems possible. Is that oh, you know what? Hang on. Is that just like smoke? Like it shot out smoke and then the missile. Can I go frame by frame? No, I cannot. Oh, yeah, I guess I can. So it shoots out a missile. Oh, I noticed something. See right here, the red dot is gone. And then it's gone again. So it's like it's shooting out its own missile. The missile's going the other way. I don't know what's going on with that one. I don't know. I have no idea what. I don't know if that object, missile, whatever that thing is, if it's long because it's actually that shape or the way it's filming because it's not a high frame rate. It extends it so it makes it look longer. I can't tell what's going on with that, to be honest. I don't know. Not an expert. But I'm sure somebody might figure that out. But all right, I mean, again, I don't see an alien spaceship. That was definitely better to watch than the other ones. Is this the same one? Okay, so oh no, this is the same one. Oh shit, Patrick. Hang on, you. Okay. All right, here we go. So we got a let's bring this back up. My bad, my bad. There we go. All right, so this is a 5-minute video, roughly 4 minutes. It says 4 minutes 57 seconds, but then at the bottom it says 4 minutes 46 seconds. So I don't know. This is from the Yellow Sea 2023. Again, no file report, no nothing. Let's just watch it. So there's something moving, right? You just see a lot of videos like this. It's not doing anything crazy, just this thing. Why should I think that's alien? What is it? But I don't know. Now you see it glitching. I don't think that's the object itself. I just think that's the camera and the way it's recording it. It's clearly trying to stay with it. What is that thing? I don't know. So this is what the government is releasing as the best evidence of aliens. But no, they're not, because they're releasing the stuff that they've collected over the years that's just unresolved. That's all it is. Unresolved stuff. They basically gave us the shit, the scraps. You know what I mean? It's like we got the crust from the bread. We're getting the scraps. We're getting the food that didn't sell from the buffet. That's what they're giving us. I mean, I just don't know why we're wasting our time with this stuff. They're saying they have definitive smoking gun evidence. And why should we care about this? Why does any of this matter? This is, and then the argument, well, this is supposed to get people used to it. Used to what? Like, used to bullshit? Like, this doesn't get you used to anything. If anything, this makes you distrust and not care. I mean, I just don't see it doing anything abnormal. It moves like a balloon or something, right? It's just moving in this perfectly in rhythm thing. Yeah, someone made a good point in the chat. We want the resolved stuff. Exactly. We want the stuff that they resolved and said, this is alien, right? They figured it out. Not the stuff they don't know what the fuck it is and it's just some bullshit. Exactly. We want the stuff they figured out. Like I've said before, right? We don't want the UFOs. We want the IFOs, the identified flying object videos, the alien shit. I mean, I can already tell that people on Twitter and News Nation is going to be playing this like, see this alien thing? You know, it's like, I mean, you can't tell the shape of what it is just based on the camera, 72p fucking shit they give us. No context around this. It's just, here's a file from 2023 Middle East or whatever, like that's it. That's all you get. We don't know anything. We have no context. Yeah, it looks like a balloon. It moves like a balloon. Like if it quacks like a duck. I guarantee you the one that shot out the missile or whatever that was, the projectile, that people are going to go crazy over that one. Hmm. Okay. There you go. There you have it, folks. All right. All right. This is South China Sea 2024. Again, that's all the information we get. I have no other information. That's all you get. 2024, South China Sea. Unresolved. I mean, they're probably laughing at us, like, look at these guys. We just give them some bullshit and they're happy. This is what they wanted. I could just see Trump in the Oval Office. This is what they wanted. I'll let them have it. Doesn't mean anything. This is the easiest thing I've ever had to do to please people. Hmm. Okay, can you film the thing for Christ's sake? Like, I've got a few thoughts on this thing. I don't know what that is. It could be a reflection, could be Starlink. Like, what you don't know is if it's moving that way. That's the problem with parallax and some of these other things. We only get one angle, no context. That could be something from the camera as well, inside the housing. You just don't know. And you say, Patrick, well, it's unresolved. Why would there's no way they'd be confused by that. Yeah, they would. Now it's fading out. I mean, I don't know what that is. I don't know if I've ever seen a video like that. So someone, I'm sure someone will try to figure that out. It could be birds, a bunch of birds in formation. Yes, that many birds do go in formation. If you've ever lived in the Midwest in America, you know tons of birds fly together, right? Is this migration? It is possible. 100%. No, again, nothing about that seemed extraordinary to me personally. But all right. Again, no context. South China Sea, 2024. I don't know the month. I don't know the date. We don't know anything. It says date taken January 1st, 2024. That's incorrect. That's not what the date is. They put January 1st for everything. So just FYI. All right, this is East China Sea, 2024. Again, no other information. The way it's moving is not, it's just part of the camera, which makes me think it's nothing special. And that was it. Okay. I want to be excited by this stuff, I promise you. Let's see what information we got. This is East China Sea, 2024. Again, this is it. No other information. Is this the same one? No, this is different. So again, they film these objects that are moving just like balloons, like just this straight, it's not doing anything crazy. Easy to track because it's not really moving. And at the same time, you don't know if the object's moving or if the drone that's capturing it is moving. I mean, that is so tiny. There is no way anyone is figuring out what that is. I'm sure there'll be a couple, quote, video experts who'll be like, oh, these are interdimensional beings, sentient plasmoids floating around. Fuck out of here with that. Okay. East, okay. We got, all right. This is Eastern United States from 2020. All right. This says, all right, so this does have a debrief. So we'll take a look at that. This is submitted a report. Okay. An accompanying range Fowler debrief describes the phenomena as quite small and as continuing in a constant direction. The report characterizes the shape of the phenomenon as indistinguishable with the metallic appearance and reflective underside. Video description. This media was digitally altered before being reported to Arrow and is presented as received. It's 5 seconds. All right, 5 seconds. It has audio. It's not much though. Huh. So it kind of zips up, zips down, you know, like a bug, right? But clearly, and that's why having this report gives us more context. Because if you just saw that video, you go, well, what the fuck? So let's take a look at the report here. That's not good enough. Let me open this. Oh, son of a bitch. The hell? No. Okay, here we go. Hang on. We're going to bring this up. There we go. All right, so this is, let's bring this up so y'all can see it. This is the range Fowler debrief form from that 5-second video. So let's take a closer look here. All right, so it says, let me make sure y'all can read that. Yes, okay. So it says, please complete this form to the best of your ability. If you do not have the requested information, please leave the field blank. If there was more than one, quote, group, please report each on a separate form for data collection purposes. You should receive a response within 5 business days. All right, so last first name, not there. 04 rank, squadrons, redacted, pilot. This information is for contact only. Blank sanitizes all reports of identifying information. Okay, absolutely no identifying information for aircrew or squadron will be recorded for analysis. So we don't get the day and time, none of that. Mission description, redacted, longitude, latitude, all of that. Wind direction, we don't get any of that. Just FYI. All redacted. Was the contact moving? Yes. Direction. Oh, that's the example. So that's not there. Please check all that apply. Metallic, reflective. What they're not checking is round, square, balloon shaped, wings, airframe, other shape, apparent propulsion, moving parts, markings, translucent, opaque. So that's kind of interesting. All right. Blank, apparent object also captured with blank, appeared quite small. Speed appeared to be blank and continued in constant direction. Shape indiscernible, but the bottom was reflective. Department of the Navy. And that's it. All right. Well, at least we get a little bit of context. I mean, it's not really anything crazy. But, you know, wouldn't that be better? Wouldn't that be better that all the videos came with something like this? That's what I mean by context. Something. I mean, it's, you know, I wish it was more, but at least, I mean, this is what I'm doing. I'm thankful for the crumbs. But yes, it would just be nicer to get more context like this, even though this isn't very much. At least it's something for this. All right, let's keep moving on here. All right, this is 2020 Eastern United States. And that's it. No other information. 2020 Eastern United States. It does have audio, but it's just static. It kind of looks like the Go Fast. So we're tracking an object. But that's a good example of, it looks like the object's moving really quickly there, right? but it's not. See, that's just the camera. That's the guy trying to get the camera because of the frame rate. It makes it look like it's doing something that it's not. Right? Let's watch again so you can see that. See how it distorts the image when the camera moves? That's deinterlacing. Right? So right there, it looked like it zoomed off. Right? See that? See how it spreads out the image? That's just the low quality of the camera and deinterlacing. And again, we get no, see right there, it looked like, oh my God, did that thing just zip in? No, it didn't. Right? See that? That's not the object. That's not what it looks like. Yeah, no context. All right, next page. We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more videos. Then we'll get to the images. All right, let's keep going here. Western United States, 2020. Again, no context. 1 minute, 34 seconds. No sound. The quality is abysmal. Oh, Pong. They're just changing the thermal. Hmm. Okay, well, that's it. Again, there's no information. I just don't know how anyone sees that and goes, that's an alien spaceship. I just don't get it. All right, this is 2015, Eastern United States, 21 seconds. Again, that's all the information I have. I'm not holding anything back here. It's all it says. I mean, there was better graphics on the Game Boy. All right, people are definitely gonna be talking about this video. I can tell you that right now. So this thing comes at it and zooms by it. Just because it's got some kinetic action in the video. But again, nothing about this screams alien spaceship, right? Something flies. And that's it. Hmm. Interesting. Well, all right, let's keep going here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think it's this one right here. This is Eastern United States, 2020. Again, that's all the information there is. You kind of look like a duck. Look at that. All right, look at that. Quack, quack. Why can't I? Let me go back. Let me go back. So, I mean, it looks like a duck, and then it pops off. I don't know. Again, no context. I don't know. I don't know. Gonna let y'all decide on that and argue about it. I think that was this one. No. Okay. So, 2020 Eastern United States. Again, that's all the information there is. This is 1 minute. This does have audio, but it's not. It's just like not static, but.
Last station, calling street factory again.
There we go. You hear something? Okay. I just don't, is what it is. All right, this is from Eastern United States, 2019. This does have a report as well, so we'll go over that. This is a 20-second video with the report. It says, an accompanying Ranger Fowler debrief describes the phenomena as exhibiting flight characteristics unlike anything the observer had seen in 28 years of service for the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Navy. The report characterizes the phenomenon as small and traveling in a straight line opposite direction at high speed. This is 2019. This sounds like the was it the gimbal? Which one was it where the pilots are like, it's flying against the wind? There's a whole team of them or whatever, right? And that was 2015, the USS Roosevelt. So interesting. All right. Eastern United States. That was also Eastern United States. So, all right, let's watch the video, then we'll take a look at the report. So there it is, small, moving against the wind. Having some context definitely just helps. I mean, the context is the most compelling part of this, not the video. The video doesn't show anything. And that's the whole point. You show the video, you don't get anything from it. It's the context around it that really helps paint the picture a little bit more. And in this instance, the context is way more compelling than the video itself. So let's take a look at this and see what we get. All right, here we go. Let me get a little coffee drink, y'all. Take a sip, okay? Let's all take a breather. Let's take a sip. We're going to jump into this. All right. So we've already looked at one of these forms. We can kind of skip the intro part and whatever, right? Clearly they've redacted name, crew position, all of that. No mission description, date, any of that. We also don't get latitude, longitude, latitude, altitude, wind direction, none of that. We don't get any of that. All right. Was the contact moving? Yes. Now, please check all that apply. They didn't check anything. All right? So they didn't check round, square, balloon-shaped, wings, airframe, other shape, apparent propulsion, moving parts, metallic markings, translucent, opaque, reflective, none of that. They didn't check any of that. Now, here this is redacted. So, I don't know. Number of contacts in group. They don't, there's nothing checked there. Okay. So right here is where I guess they talk about it. All right. So um, two other crew members, redacted Navy civilian and redacted United States Air Force retired contractor, and two pilots were on board a civilian King Air. Redacted. Okay. In between mission sorties, I noticed an object with flight characteristics unlike anything I had seen in my 28 years of performing redacted for the United States Air Force and Navy. A small object was below us and appeared to be traveling in a straight line opposite our direction in high speed. I tracked it for 10 to 15 seconds before we turned on the recorder to provide the attached video. When I zoomed in to try and achieve more resolution, the object speed took out of my field of view and I was unable to reacquire, even at a lower zoom. Upon analysis after the flight, the object appeared to be rectangular. Others with equal or more experience will also unsure as to what this object might be. So they put rectangular, but why didn't they check? And please check all that apply. They should have put, if it was rectangular, they should put other shape. They didn't check that. So I don't know. Anyway. All right. Again, that's way more compelling than the video. And just like all the other videos we got, we need reports like this to help us, because otherwise, imagine if you didn't have this report and you just saw that video, you wouldn't have got any of this information. That's what I mean by context, is this kind of stuff. So, all right. Let me see. Was it this one? No. It is this one. All right. Again, no context. 39 seconds. This is Atlantic Ocean, 2016. No sound. Hmm. I mean, I don't know. Does that... Oh, was I even playing that? Oh my God. So sorry. My bad. Let's watch that again. My bad, y'all. No sound on this. And there you go. Again, no context. Don't know what to make of that. It is unresolved. I mean, that's literally what it is. You just have no idea what that is. But again, Is that what we're really here for? Are we here for the government to give us these fucking videos like this and we're supposed to ooh and awe over them? Just a waste. All right, this one has a report. Atlantic Ocean 2020. It says the accompanying rain trawler debrief describes the phenomenon as darker maroonish color, approximately 12 to 15 feet in height. The report describes the phenomenon, quote, traveling with the wind, and noted that it did not, quote, maneuver or change direction. It also describes the phenomenon as appearing similar to a, quote, large, somewhat deformed balloon. Okay, let's watch the video and then we'll take a look at the report. I mean, that is a weird looking object. I have to admit, that is a weird looking thing. What in the flying? This looks like one of those Rorschach images, doesn't it? Like a therapist asking you, "What do you see here?" You know what I mean? Um, that is, I mean, I admit that is weird looking. Like, what is that blob? It just looks like a blob. I don't. Let me quickly before we take a look at the report. Is the blob moving? Is it growing? I mean, it kind of is moving a little bit, like deforming and form. I don't know that. All right, look, I admit that's probably the most interesting one I've seen. Now let's get some more context and look at the report. All right, so again, we've gone over all the top of this. Let's just get to the nitty gritty. Crew position WSO. I don't know what that means. O3 rank. Dusk. At least we get that. It's at dusk. That's interesting. The light is very interesting at dusk, so that is something to consider. But let's keep moving here. So, was the contact moving? Yes. Please check all that apply. Round, square, balloon shaped, other shape, metallic, opaque, reflective. What they did not check is wings or airframe, apparent propulsion, moving parts, markings, translucent. And let's see what other information they put. Okay, here we go. We were operating in the redacted airspace when redacted goes down. There's quite a few sentences redacted. It says it traveled with the wind the closer we came to it. It was hard to assess the true direction of travel, but it was generally in a southern direction. Redacted. We noted no maneuvers or change in direction from the object. Redacted. The object itself was a darker maroonish color, approximately 12 to 15 feet in height. Structurally, it appeared as a large, somewhat deformed balloon, but we were unable to verify that as we passed at the merge. Redacted, and then at the end they put, we then proceeded back to the ship, landing uneventfully. All right. I do not see another clickable link in here. I don't know why someone's saying that. They're saying they see a clickable link in this. I do not see any clickable link in this. All right. Let's move on. We don't have much left here. I think this is the last one. Oh no, that was the last one. So that was the last video. Let's go to some images. We have three images. Oh, let's bring this up. We got 3 images. Let's take a look. These are all from NASA, low Earth orbit. They're all from 1996. Okay. All right, so it says here, I'm going to do this. Let me read this, and then I'm going to zoom in on the image for us. During STS-80 between November 19th and December 7th, 1996, astronauts aboard Space Shuttle Columbia captured a series of 3 images of an unidentified object in low Earth orbit. In the first photograph, the object is visible near the center of the frame, to the right of the limb of the Earth. The limb of the Earth. I've never heard that described that way. That's kind of cool. All right, let me zoom in on the image and let's take a look. All right. So right there, that white thing you see, right, looks like a pencil head. Clearly there's reflections. You can see the reflections through the window. But some object, I'm zooming in on it. It's hard to tell if that's the shape. I guess we'll look at some other images and try to find out. Okay, so that's image number 1. All right. All right, let me pull up image number 2. This is image number 2. All right, so same thing. All right, let me just let's just bring up the images instead. Okay. So now it has rotated, I guess. All right, so that's image number 2. Same object. All right, now let me bring up image number 3. All right, this is image number 3. And the object's a little harder to see, but I'm going to zoom in on it. Right there in the middle. You see it? So this is actually a better image because the other one you couldn't tell if it was. I mean, it looks like part of something with the spaceship they took out, right? Like, but I don't know. Wouldn't they know that? All right, wouldn't they know if that was part of their craft? But there it is in the center. All right. I don't know. But it looks like part of whatever they took up there, potentially. I don't know. But it is something. All right, so those are the images. We got some audio to get through. There's just a lot of files to get through, y'all, so I got to be a little quicker here. I apologize. Audio. All right, if these are long, we're not going to play the whole thing. We'll find out. Let's bring them up. Here we go. All right, so these are some audio files from Texas. All right, let's go. From NASA. It looks like we've got debriefings from 1971 and 1972 and crew medical debriefings as well. So let's start off with this first one here. This file contains segment 1 of 2 of the Apollo 14 post-mission crew debriefing at the Manned Spacecraft Center, now Johnson Space Center, Houston, Texas. In the recording, crew members and debriefers discuss the light flash phenomena and the novel, now well-documented biological effect where high-energy cosmic rays pass through the eye and strike the retina, causing the perception of light streaks or flashes. The questioners attempt to distinguish the characteristics of the observed phenomena. The debriefing continues in the next file, which contains some overlapping audio content. Okay, this is an hour and 36 minutes. We are definitely not listening to all of this. Again, if you want to listen to all of this, go to war.gov/UFO and you can find all of these files yourself. I'm going to play a little bit of it and take a bathroom break. So I'll play just a few minutes of it, take a bathroom break. I'll come back and we'll listen to some more of the other ones. Let me see here.
You're coming through loud and clear.
Okay, I guess we got
You might have to
three
turn up.
mics.
Let me see here.
One for each. More mics than we.
Let me see if I can find.
The quarantine period here.
Why wouldn't the best way to do it make all of those time periods?
I think that'd be a difficult thing to try to do, really. I bypass the cocoa, and I just drink a juice. So I'd say
Let me
probably.
see if I can get to the.
Really reflects our consensus.
It was a time-consuming part of the day. Well, we ran out of
What happened? And you hadn't done a damn thing, because then we faced the whole thing. Oh,
working on
Trying to get to that
reserves.
part.
yeah, I do too.
Of my booties, and I would lay there like that with pulling
Booties.
some pressure.
What the?
Al Bean had made a comment of that in the 12 report, that after he got
Yeah.
into orbit, he looked around and everybody looked 20 pounds heavier, and I
Right.
remembered that, and I looked at these guys.
G, and the big flight stuff, and you're lifting one.
Trying to find this.
Ever
What, how's your
wished it that way? It's
PRDs down and your any difficulties in
It's
the only
either,
problems I have is with reading small print. They were close.
But you couldn't see anything obvious as to why.
no, I went down and went.
2 drops of good, give it 4.
Yeah,
All right, let's. I think it's here.
10, 12 hours.
Well, you could hear it. This is a fairly routine. You hear this in the guys' voices, and you know they're doing it. You know, you hear this
I'll be
full
right back.
feeling that they have. Sometimes they get a little bit of hoarse sensation with it too, and it comes and goes. And you described it, I thought, very well yesterday. You know, sometimes in the mornings it'd be, you'd wake up and it'd be better in the morning.
You know,
Well, I
Chuck,
don't know, this is kind of a subjective feeling. I kind of felt that maybe the whole full head sensation was related to a readjustment of the whole cardiovascular system, and therefore,
It is.
if you could relax a little bit in the evening, it ought to help it. This is my theory.
Yeah.
Maybe I kind of wished it that way. It's just a general feeling, nothing to substantiate quantitatively. And I think as far as the nose drops are concerned, it helped with the mucus, but it didn't help the overall fullness sensation.
Did they work all right? I know we got a special one with Stu here, but did they work all right? I mean, did the
Just like we
drop-
should have, or
Yes,
like I
it cleared out
expected
it made it clear out the mucus temporarily, a few hours.
Yeah, okay. And Stu, what about now, did you just give yourself too big a slug? Is that what happened to it, or?
I think I probably did, Chuck. I'm sure that's what happened. You know, I said, well, I hadn't used any up to Lynn, but on entry, you know, and I thought, well, I think I'll just use some of these beauties. And I think gave me too big a dose in the right nostril here, because boy, my eyes started watering, and I could feel it in my sinuses and everything else. And but it lasted maybe an hour, and by the time, I guess I probably did that a couple, 3 hours prior to entry, and an hour later, you know, I think most of the symptoms have gone away. Either that or you're getting closer to entry and you stop worrying about it. But yeah, I did. I think I overdid it, and I just, you know, I hardly ever take any nose drops or anything, and maybe I just got too much in there. It's probably pretty powerful stuff.
It is powerful. I know if I, in 1G or here, if I take more than a couple of drops of Afrin, if I use drops instead of spray, I get the same effect as Stu does.
Yeah, no, that's not
It's a
uncommon.
burning and a real drying sensation.
And it wasn't a lack of briefing or not trying it before flight or anything like that. I think I was just a little overzealous in the application.
Well, you know,
2 drops are good, give it 4.
Yeah, you know, what the hell?
Did you feel that you got any, did you get a tachycardia with that? Did you get a real increase in heart rate with that?
Oh, I don't have the foggiest idea.
You didn't feel it anyway?
Yeah. Gee,
Afrin-
y'all had the
He pumped a little more adrenaline. He got mad at us for suggesting that we usually use the goddamn thing.
Yeah, I was teed off at the suggestion.
Did any, you all had some evidence in your ears on the first exam when Bill saw you, of having some bubbles in there, and did you have any sensation during re-entry that you were having trouble clearing your ears, any of you? No sensation?
No.
it's surprising to me. I was looking for it. Surprisingly enough, I had no problems at all.
Not a bit.
I could feel the pressure change, but
So
I could hear them pop. But you know, I did that too on my suit integrity check. I could feel the pressure.
Yeah.
You know, and you just sort
Sure.
of pop it. Hey, I'd like to make a comment before I forget about this voice sounding full. You know, I noticed that you'll do that a lot if you. I think maybe it's because the atmosphere is dry, but if you're doing a lot of talking, and then you come on, and I would notice myself sounding
Okay.
full, and I say, gee,
I'm gonna move on.
I'm sounding.
I listened to that while I was away. I mean, I don't really hear anything there. All right. You know, why don't they highlight where in the video this is, where in the audio this is, right?
Most of my streaks appeared to be on the periphery, and for the first several days, I got the impression that this direction was predominant. Later on, it appeared that I don't think I could get that good a pattern, but that was my first impression for the first couple of days.
The next question is, was there any apparent direction of propagation? And could you tell it was coming from one side to the other, or was it just a...
Be right back.
Several times you did say from the left to the right, or something like that.
Tried to correlate it, but in my case, I couldn't really correlate a pattern out of it.
Yeah, I would think that the time period in which we tried to report them streak by streak, flash by flash, was representative. And it was my feeling that it was generally random during that time period, and therefore generally random.
I mean, this just doesn't seem that exciting, y'all,
No, I meant...
to be honest. I mean, it's cool, but, you know. All right, let me see if there's anything here. Let's take a look. Medical debriefing. I mean, again, this is... I'm not going to go over this stuff, y'all. This is too long. So again, go to war.gov/UFO and you can check these out. Let's go to some PDFs that I was looking at earlier that I found to be more interesting. So these are featured ones. All right. Featured PDFs. Let's bring this up. Let's take a look. All right, here we go. Let me zoom in on it so y'all can see it better. United States Atomic Energy Commission, March 22nd, 1949. This is a transcript of the minutes of the conference held at Los Alamos, February 16th, 1949, pertaining to aerial phenomena. All right, so I read through a lot of this actually earlier. This is one of the documents I read through earlier. Again, so this is held at Los Alamos Scientific Laboratory, where Bob Lazar worked. And you can see all the different people who are here, and you even have Dr. Teller. Basically, they're talking about these green fireballs. So Mr. Neuberger opened the conference and stated that the subject of aerial phenomena was classified secret within the meaning of an AR 380-5 and comparable appropriate regulations of the Navy and Air Forces, and that all personnel at this meeting were properly cleared. Okay. So it says, Captain Neef says, it all started back in December 1948 when we first received some reports from some airline pilots that these green fireballs were sighted. At this stage, we had no idea what to do with it or what it was. We approached Dr. La Paz, who had been assisting us, gratis, which means free, since that date. Almost over 2 months now that he has been assisting us. So in order to have you get the facts as they are to a scientist, I'll let Dr. La Paz explain these things as we have found them. Then you can give your opinion. Okay. All right. Dr. La Paz, I'm not going to read the whole thing. This is 25 pages, but I know a few different parts that might be interesting. So I would like to review what is observed in the case of a conventional meteorite fall. Not that I have any hopes of saying anything you don't already know, but because I regard the observational evidence observed by the conventional meteorite falls as providing the necessary background for what is now observed. Meteorite falls, for next minute or two, Dr. La Paz's comments on record drowned out by noise from ditch digger immediately outside the conference room. So that happens a lot in this meeting, apparently. Because of sound phenomena, primarily the falls of a large meteorite will cause great fright among human beings necessarily, but primarily among animals of all kinds. So basically what they talk about is that they observe a lot of meteorites, or what they think. They're, people are reporting green fireballs. But what they start to say in this document is that it's kind of interesting the way that they move, and that the sound coming off of them is odd. It's unusual that it moves in a horizontal way parallel with Earth. And they're trying to say, well, I've never seen meteorites do that. And that's what I found interesting about this document. So this is one that is kind of interesting to read through. So let me see if I can find some of those parts. Oh man, I should have saved some of these pages where I looked at that. All right, this might have been one. So Dr. La Paz says, there's a good deal of evidence that may be of value in the complete reports that are available right here. This is where I'm at. That are available here. But since this is an introduction, I would like to summarize at this stage. Shit, where did I go? Summarize at this stage. This is where I'm at right here. The fireball, which I personally witnessed on the night of December 12, 1948, was not, in my opinion, a conventional meteor fall, since the majority of the green fireballs have been reported to me both before and after this December 12th occurrence possess almost all the properties which I personally observed on the night of December 12th. I feel that in all probability they are not themselves conventional meteor falls, right? Now, the easy way out of this is to conjure up an unconventional type of meteorite, which comes in practically parallel to the surface of the Earth and is somehow endowed with the property against the very great atmospheric resistance that is experienced on a level it reserves nearly constant velocity over paths, say of the order of 25 to over 100 miles, as in the case of the green fireball on January 30th. It should also have the property that is very remarkable hue of green, not heretofore observed, to my knowledge, in the case of any conventional meteor falls. So it's kind of interesting. And some of the sounds they start talking about are interesting. And again, there's a lot to this document. But if we go near the end, right, at the very end, Dr. Bradbury says, still don't feel that the meteor stuff is out. The puzzling thing is the long horizontal path. Also, absence of noise is puzzling. And I think that's what they're most concerned with on this. There's a lot to this document, definitely worth checking out. This is kind of an interesting one. So, but we're going to move on. So there's a lot to cover. It's 25 pages. And there could be more to it that I'm missing. Again, this is just, all this stuff just dropped. So again, this is the very first PDF. If you release for PDF, this is the Los Alamos Conference, Aerial Phenomenon, 1949. That's what that document was I just looked at. All right, so this one is Analysis of Flying Object Incidents in the United States, 1949, Department of War. Let's bring this up. Okay. Let's keep going. All right. Headquarters, United States Air Force Air Intelligence Report. Top secret. It's crossed out. All right. Here we go. So it says, I'm sure y'all can read that. Analysis of flying object incidents in the U.S. Directorate of Intelligence and Office of Naval Intelligence. December 10th, 1948, Division Study number 203. All right. Analysis of flying object incidents in the U.S. So it's got an index. You can see all this stuff. All right, let's keep going. So, analysis of flying object incidents in the U.S. Summary and conclusions. Problem 1, to examine patterns of tactics of, quote, flying saucers, hereinafter referred to as flying objects, and to develop conclusions as to the possibility of existence. So that's something interesting. It's almost like when you're doing FOIA, people should search for flying objects, not necessarily flying saucers, because it could mean the same thing. All right. So it says the frequency of reported incidents, the similarity in many of the characteristics attributed to the observed objects, and the quality of observers considered as a whole support the contention that some type of flying object has been observed. Approximately 210 incidents that have been reported. Among the observers reporting on such incidents are trained and experienced U.S. Weather Bureau personnel, United States Air Force rated officers, experienced civilian pilots, and technicians associated with various research projects and technicians employed by commercial airlines. The possibility that reported observations of flying objects over the U.S. were influenced by previous sightings of unidentified phenomena in Europe, particularly over Scandinavia in 1946, and that observers reporting such incidents may have been interested in obtaining personal publicity have been considered as possible explanations. However, these possibilities seem to be improbable when certain selected reports, such as the one from U.S. Weather Bureau at Richmond, are examined. During observations of weather balloons at the Richmond Bureau, one well-trained observer has cited strange metallic discs on 3 occasions, and another observer has cited a similar object on 1 occasion. The last observation of unidentified objects was in April 1947. On all 4 occasions, the weather balloon and the unidentified objects were in view through the theodolite. These observations at the Richmond occurred several months before publicity on the flying saucers appeared in a newspaper. Descriptions of the flying objects fall into 3 configuration categories. 1, disc-shaped. 2, rough cigar-shaped. 3, balls of fire. Varying conditions of visibility and differences in angles at which these objects may have been viewed introduces a possibility that a single type object may have been observed rather than 3 different types. The possibility is further substantiated by the fact that in areas where such objects have been observed, the ratio of the 3 general configurations is approximately the same. Therefore, it appears that some object has been seen. However, the identification of that object cannot be readily accomplished on the basis of information reported on each incident. It is possible that the object or objects may have been domestically launched devices such as weather balloons, rockets, experimental flying wing aircraft, or celestial phenomena. It is necessary to obtain information on such domestic activity to confirm or deny this possibility, depending on the degree in which they may have been accomplished. Foreign devices must then be considered as a possibility. The pattern of sightings is definable. Sightings have been most intense throughout the states bordering the Atlantic and Pacific coastlines and the central states of Ohio and Kentucky. So then they've got a map, right? So the origin of the devices is not ascertainable. There are 2 reasonable possibilities. 1, the objects are domestic devices, and if so, their identifications or origin can be established by survey of all launchings of airborne objects. Domestic flying wing type aircraft observed in various aspects of flight may be responsible for some of the reported flying objects, particularly those described as discs and rough cigar shapes. So among those which have been in operations in recent years are the XF-5U-1 flying flapjack, developed by Chance Vaught, the Northrop B-35, and the turbojet-powered Northrop YB-49. The present existence of any privately developed flying wing-type aircraft has not been determined, but one such aircraft, the Arup tailless monoplane, was operational at South Bend, Indiana prior to 1935. So there's a lot here to this. It talks about the Soviets have a current interest in flying wing aircraft, right? Very interesting. So there's a lot here. I'm not going to read the entire thing. This is 34 pages. Right. Among the incidents reported, there are many statements by reliable and experienced persons which tend to confirm that flying objects have been seen. The description of such objects seems to fall roughly into 3 categories. Okay, well, they already talked about that. Silver disc or balls, approximating a Horton wing type aircraft, balls of fire of various colors and intensities, cigar or pencil shaped objects similar to appearance to a V2 type rockets in horizontal flight. So, all right. They got the possibility of origins. They go through a lot here. This is a lot to read. Appendix B, reported sightings of flying objects. So they've got a map here that you can look at. Let's see if I can. There's a map. It's got all the little dots and stuff. I mean, it's not very readable, but. A number of reports of unidentified flying objects come from observers who, because of their technical background and experience, do not appear to be influenced by unfounded sensationalism, nor inclined to report explainable phenomena as new types of airborne devices. Some of the details of their reports are presented in this appendix, along with those from possibly less reliable sources who have reported evidence which is of such a nature that it cannot be entirely ignored. Right? So here's some different incidents arranged chronologically. During April 1947, 2 employees of the Weather Bureau station at Richmond, Virginia, reported seeing a strange metallic disc on 3 occasions through the theodolite while making Pibble observations. I don't know what that means. One observation was at 15,000 feet when a disc was followed for 15 seconds. The disc appeared metallic, shaped something like an ellipse with a flat bottom and a round top. It appeared below the balloon and was much larger in size. The disc appeared to be moving rather rapidly, although it was impossible to estimate its speed. The other observations were made at 20,000 feet in like manner. The following month, Brian B. Savage, a field engineer for Radio Corporation of America, reported a disc flying near his home in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The object was thought to be at an altitude between 10,000 feet and 18,000 feet and was moving toward the north at a high rate of speed, leaving no trailing effects. C. While flying at 10,000 feet on a course of 300 degrees, 30 miles northwest of Lake Mead, Nevada, an Air Force lieutenant reported seeing 5 or 6 white circular objects in close formation and traveling at an estimated speed of 285 miles per hour. This sighting occurred on the 28th of June, 1947. Which is, how many days is that? That's like 10 days before Roswell. Very close to Roswell, sort of. The following day at a party of 3, 2 of them scientists were motoring along Highway 17 toward the White Sand, New Mexico B-2 firing grounds and reported seeing a large disc or sphere moving horizontally at a high speed and an estimated altitude of 10,000 feet. It was of uniform shape and had no protruding surfaces such as wings. The object was in sight for about 60 seconds before it disappeared to the northeast. The 3 observers agreed on the details of the sighting, except that one thought he had seen vapor trails. On July 7th, 1947, which is 1 day off from Roswell, 5 Portland, Oregon police officers reported varying numbers of discs flying over different parts of the city. All observations were made within a minute or two of 1:05 p.m., 13:05 hours, which is 1:05 p.m. On the same day, so on July 7, 1947, again, 1 day before Roswell, on the same day, William Rhodes of Phoenix, Arizona, allegedly saw a disc circling his locality during sunset and took 2 photographs. The resulting pictures, page 9, show a disc-like object with a round front and a square tail in plan form. These photographs have been examined by experts who state that they are true photographic images and do not appear to be imperfection in the emulsion or imperfections in the lenses. Okay, so these are the images by Mr. Rhodes. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. All right, so really hard to see anything in those, but you do see something there, right? Enlargements. Okay, I mean, I don't know. 1 day before Roswell. It sounds like a documentary, doesn't it? 1 day before Roswell. All right, this is way more interesting than the fucking videos. All right, here's another one. On July 10th, 1947, Mr. Woodruff, a Pan American Airways mechanic, reported a circular object flying at high velocity, paralleling the Earth's surface and leaving a trail which appeared as a, quote, burning up of the cloud formation. The sighting occurred, let me make sure my screen is right. Okay. The sighting occurred near Harmon Field, Newfoundland. 2 other persons also saw the trail, which remained in the sky for about an hour and was photographed by another PAA employee. The resulting photographs support Mr. Woodruff's observation as far as the sky cleavage is concerned. Sky cleavage? Oh, guys, take it down a notch. Jeez. Okay. So this is Are y'all seeing the sky cleavage? I don't know what I'm supposed to look at here. This is the image. Maybe I'm missing it. I don't know. Let me zoom out a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. That's an interesting one. Oh, okay. I guess it's that thing in the middle there. All right, interesting. I mean, that's the best sky cleavage I've ever seen. All right, on July 29th, 1947, Kenneth Arnold, does that name sound familiar? While flying near Tacoma, Washington, reported a formation of flying objects. His sketch of their shape corresponds closely to that shown in the photographs made by Mr. Rhodes. On the same day, 2 U.S. Air Force pilots at Hamilton Field reported 2 flying discs trailing a P-80, following it toward Oakland, California. On August 4th, 1947, the pilot and co-pilot of a DC-3 flying for one Al Jones near Bethel, Alaska, reported a flying disc larger than their aircraft. The disc crossed their path at about 1,000 feet, and they turned to give chase. The DC-3 was flying at 170 miles per hour, but the disc flew out of sight in 4 minutes. On November 12th, 1947, 2 flying discs trailing jet-like streams of fire were reportedly sighted from the bridge of the tanker Ticonderoga, according to the second officer. The Ticonderoga was 20 miles off the Oregon shore. The officer said the discs were in sight 45 seconds, moving at an estimated speed at 700 to 900 miles per hour, curving in a long, low arc. Wow. Okay, that is fast. I do want to get back to that Kenneth Arnold sighting, but let's go through some of these, more of these. This is interesting. On January 7th, 1948, a National Guard pilot was killed while attempting to... Wait a second. What? Okay. Hang on a second here. All right. This is getting interesting. On January 7th, 1948, a National Guard pilot was killed while attempting to chase an unidentified object up to 30,000 feet. While it is presumed that this pilot suffered anoxia resulting in his crash, his last message to the tower was, quote, "It appears to be a metallic object of tremendous size, directly ahead and slightly above. I am trying to close for a better book." I think that means trying to close in for a better look. I mean, that's insanity. Wow. That is insane. I mean, that's interesting. What do you want me to say? January 7th, 1948, a National Guard pilot was killed, right, from anoxia, basically going up, losing oxygen while trying to chase an unidentified object. And his last message to the tower was, "It appears to be a metallic object of tremendous size directly ahead and slightly above." And he's like, "I'm trying to close in for a better look." And then he dies. Come on. That's insane. Wow. Okay. On April 5th, 1948, 3 trained balloon observers from the Geophysics Laboratory Section, Watson Laboratories, New Jersey, reported seeing a round, indistinct object in the vicinity of Hallman Air Force Base, New Mexico. It was very high and fast and appeared to execute violent maneuvers at high speed. The object was under observation for approximately 30 seconds and disappeared suddenly. A yellow or light-colored sphere, 25 to 40 feet in diameter, was reported by Lieutenant Commander Marcus L. Lowe, USN, just south of Anacostia Naval Air Station, I hope I'm saying that right, DC, while he was flying on the 30th of April, 1948. It was moving at a speed of approximately 100 miles per hour at an altitude of about 4,500 feet. Although winds aloft were from the north-northwest, its course was to the north. On July 1st, 1948, 12 discs. Let me repeat that. On July 1st, 1948, 12 discs were reported over the Rapid City Air Base by Major Hammer. Boy, what a name. These discs were oval-shaped, about 100 feet long. What? So 12 100 feet long oval-shaped discs, okay, flying at a speed estimated to be in excess of 500 miles per hour. That's insane. Descending from 10,000 feet, these discs made a 30-degree to 40-degree climbing turn, accelerating very rapidly until out of sight. I mean, that is insane. Wow. All right, this is definitely the most interesting part of this drop so far for me. On the 17th of July, 1948, a report from Kirtland Air Force Base describes a sighting in the vicinity of San Acacia, New Mexico, of 7 unidentified objects flying in a J formation at an estimated height of 20,000 feet above the terrain. The formation varied from J to L to circle after passing the zenith. Flashes from the objects were observed after passing 30 degrees beyond the zenith, but there was no smoke or vapor trail. If the reported altitude is correct, the speed was estimated at 1,500 miles per hour, according to the report. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. Other sightings of lights and trails rather than discs have been reported. On September 12th, 1947, the pilot and co-pilot of a Pan American aircraft en route from Midway to Honolulu saw a blue-white light approaching, changing to twin reddish glows upon withdrawal. The pilot estimated the speed of the light at about 1,000 knots. Wow. On the 15th of June, 1948, Mr. Boonville, territory manager for the B.F. Goodrich Company, observed a reddish glow with a jet exhaust in the vicinity of Miles City, Montana. This glowing light made no sound, traveled about twice the speed of a conventional aircraft, and flew from north to south several times in a wide arc, finally disappearing over the horizon. During the early morning of July 25th, 1948, 2 Eastern Airlines pilots reported having seen a huge flying craft similar to a V-2 pass their aircraft in flight. The attached drawings made by these 2 observers were closely resemble a flying object reported to have been seen on July 20th, 1948 by A.D. Otter, chief investigator of Court of Damage Inquiry, and his daughter at Arnhem, Netherlands. This object appeared to be a wingless aircraft having 2 decks. The craft, sighted 4 times through scattered clouds and unlimited visibility, was traveling at high speed at a high altitude. A sound similar to that made by a V-2 was reported. An object similar in shape to the one in the preceding incident was reported by an experienced American newspaper reporter about 25 kilometers northeast of Moscow on the 3rd of August, 1948. A Russian acquaintance identified it as a rigid airship, but the reporter disagrees because it flew at a high but not excessive speed. On the 1st of October, 1948, at approximately 20:30 hours, which is 8:30 p.m., the pilot of an F-51 aircraft, Second Lieutenant George F. Gorman, from the North Dakota Air National Guard flying near Fargo, North Dakota, sighted an intermittent white light about 3,000 feet below his 4,500 feet cruising altitude. The pilot pursued the light, which appeared to then take evasive tactics. The object, or light, outturned, outspeeded, and outclimbed the F-51 in every instance during the attempt to intercept. The pilot lost contact. 27, oh, it cut it off. Okay, let me come back to those drawings. Give me a second. The pilot lost contact 27 minutes after the initial sighting. The same light was observed by 3 other witnesses from the ground. Mr. L.D. Jensen, Air Traffic Controller, Mr. Manuel E. Johnson, Assistant Traffic Controller, and Dr. L.N. Cannon, oculist. A comparison of all testimony revealed that one object was sighted and that it consisted only of a small round ball of clear white light with no apparent shape attached. It was about 6 to 8 inches in diameter. Oh, that's tiny. At times, it traveled faster than the F-51. Is that possible? And performed maneuvers in an evasive manner. When first sighted, the ball of light was traveling at an estimated 250 miles per hour. Under this condition, the light was not continuous, but blinked off and on. At high performance, the white light was continuous. Subsequent investigation eliminated the possibility that this incident may have been another aircraft or a meteorological balloon. All right, before I get to that next thing, let's look at these images. All right, let me see if I can turn this so we can look at them better. I think that's upside down. I think. Oh, no, hang on. All right. I mean, looks like a missile. That's from one of the earlier sightings. So it's got like, well, that's, I mean, all right. I don't know. Okay. Let's get back to these incidents. This is super interesting. On November 18th, 1948, at approximately 21:45 hours, which is 9:45 p.m., 3 reserve pilots, Second Lieutenant Kenwood W. Jackson and Second Lieutenant Glenn L. Stalker, and Second Lieutenant Henry G. Combs, flying near Andrews Field, Maryland, encountered an unidentified flying object. When first sighted, it appeared to be lighted and flying at about 1,700 feet. 3 or 4 passes were made in an attempt to identify it. The pilot of the aircraft stated that while driving his aircraft at approximately 240 miles per hour, the object would climb vertically and then would drop below the aircraft from behind and continue to circle. On the last pass, the landing light was switched on, and momentarily a dull gray glow from the object was observed. Lieutenant Combs stated he maintained contact for about 10 minutes with the object, flying between the lights of Washington, D.C. and his aircraft. All that could be observed was an oblong ball with one light, no wings, and no exhaust flame. It finally made a very tight turn and headed toward the East Coast at an estimated 500 to 600 miles per hour. At the same time, Staff Sergeant John J. Kushner observed from the ground an unusual object in the air over Andrews Field. He stated that it was not very high and that it did not look like an aircraft. Reports of radar intercepts point to unusual air activity which may be related to flying objects. On July 1st, 1947, a GCA radar at Hokkaido, Japan, picked up an unidentified target at 16 miles with a speed in excess of 500 miles per hour. This target split into 2 targets, each estimated to be larger than a P-51. And on September 16, 1947, an MEW radar at Fukuoka, Japan, picked up a target at 89 miles and trailed it to 19 miles where it faded. Speed was 840 to 900 miles per hour. The speed measurement, made by a good crew through a 70-mile track, is believed accurate. Wow. Investigations conducted by Headquarters Air Materiel Command have definitely established the identification of 18 of approximately 210 so-called flying saucers, which have been reported. Approximately 9% of the total number of incidents are therefore eliminated from further specific consideration. Among those incidents positively explained, 3 were hoaxes, 2 were from unreliable witnesses. In the remaining 13 eliminated incidents, objects were actually seen, but investigation has shown that they were celestial bodies or phenomena, meteorological and carnival balloons, and airborne cosmic ray experimental equipment. Wait, what? Airborne cosmic ray experimental equipment? What the? The following examples are presented for comparison of the information reported by witnesses and true identification of the object involved. Okay. On July 22nd, 1948, Captain Henry Glover from the Ordnance Reserve and his wife observed at Van Nuys, California, an object which they were unable to positively identify. Object at first appeared to be round and looked like a weather balloon at about 2,000 feet, but there was no characteristic bobbing. The wind was blowing on the ground, but the object was quite steady. During the time it was under observation, about an hour, it traveled through a vertical arc of about 25 degrees or more. The observer concluded that it was not a celestial body. It has a bluish luminescence as the sun set. The object's color gradually changed to orange at dusk and ceased to be illuminated almost instantaneously. The outline was clear, and the air was clear with visibility unlimited. The object traveled from the east to the west. The object was determined by investigation to have been a balloon carrying cosmic ray equipment. I don't even know what that means. Let me keep looking here. Is there? Okay, all right, we're almost done here. On August 9th, 1948, at approximately 10:50 hours, which is 10:50 a.m., an unidentified flying object was visible from the ground at Godman Air Force Base, Kentucky. This object was estimated to be at about 30 to 40,000 feet altitude, spherical in shape, bright silver color, and gave a bright reflection from the sun. An F-51 was dispatched from Stanford Air Force Base, Kentucky, to observe the object. During observation from the ground, there was no change in the elevation of the object, and it seemed to be moving southwest from Godman Air Force Base. The F-51, which was flying over Godman Air Force Base at an altitude of 30 to 35,000 feet, reported that it was unable to locate the object, although it was still visible from the ground with the naked eye. Azimuth and elevation readings were taken by theodolite every minute, and the path of the object was charted. The object was determined to be the planet Venus by Mr. Moore, the head astronomer at the University of Louisville, Kentucky. It is believed that earlier incidents at Godman Field may have also been observations of the planet Venus. All right, that's interesting. Among those incidents still not positively explained, reported observations differ to some extent, but three general categories of sightings emerge: the flying disc, the ball of fire, and the large jet rocket. Interesting observations that were noted are most of the objects are a thin disc, round on top and flat on the bottom. The front half of the disc is often circular, sweeping back to a square tail across the full width. B, a high rate of climb as well as the apparent ability to remain motionless or hover for considerable length of time is indicated. C, reported sizes have varied from that of a 25-cent piece to 250 feet in diameter, and from the size of a pursuit plane to the bulk of 6 B-29 airplanes. Speeds have been estimated throughout the entire range from very slow or hovering to supersonic. Sounds and visual trails are not normally associated with the sightings. All right, so there's all kinds of things. Okay, what is it? Hang on a second. Horton wing. The closest resemblance to the estimated configuration of flying disc is represented by the Horton wing aircraft. Work on the Horton 229, a twin jet fighter, had progressed to the final stages at the end of World War II. Its prototype, a Horton glider, successfully soared to an altitude of 14,200 feet as early as 1938, proving the soundness of this design. Interesting. Okay, look at this thing. That's interesting. Oh, I see. Oh, I can't tell. EFG. Is it all right? Either way, is it the same thing? Looks like the same thing. Whoa, look at this. The Armstrong Whitworth. Armstrong, let's go, baby. A glider, a twin jet airplane, are British designs of tailless aircraft. An experimental flying wing aircraft, the Armstrong Whitworth. That's kind of cool. Interesting. So here's all the different aircraft. This is the B-35. This is a flying wing type aircraft, which is triangular. Let's see if I can turn that. There you go. Huh. Oh, that's another. I mean, it's like a flying triangle. That is a weird looking thing. Okay, so just putting all the different aircraft that they have. It could explain some of these sightings. All right. I mean, that is interesting for sure. All right, let's take a break for a second because good Lord. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're gonna go to one more PDF, but let me take a look at some chat here while I got a second, but we're not done. Good times going over the UFO files with you all good folks. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Mermaid Moxie. Love that name, Mermaid Moxie. Justin Fokker. Enjoy your vids, man. If they're a real ET, UFO, UAP, whatever you and the government has close-up undeniable footage, they will never release it. Never. If these are the videos leading to disclosure, it'll never happen. Now, it sounds like it might be in some of these files, but yeah, I can't I totally understand what you're saying. Justin Fokker again, government carpet bombing us with all these bombshells, LOL. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, again, the files are disappointing because the video files, because you don't get any of the context, right? And so you're just left like, what do we do with this, right? But I have to admit, these PDF reports going back to the 40s are way more interesting, right? That National Guardsman that died flying up trying to chase a flying disc, and his last message is like, "This is a metallic object, right? You know, blah, blah, blah," and then he dies. I mean, this is insane. The 10 discs that were like 100 feet wide, pardon me, that's insane. Like, there's some insane stories in this. That's so more interesting than the videos and photos we're getting. Mr. Knightman says, this is getting a little comical and predictable. Yet another situation of look over here, not over there. The last tranches were aligned with major military operations overseas, not a burger. Yeah, a lot of the videos are just recent stuff, right? Which it's like, where's all the videos from before, from the 90s, the 80s, the 70s? I mean, they had videos. So where's that stuff? For those of us at work, are these bombshells or... No, they're not. To me, the most bombshell thing is the last report I read was super interesting, and I like that they included all the prototypes. Does that explain all of those sightings? Maybe not. Right? There's some crazy sightings that I read out. Right? Lots of them, lots of people, and they even go so far as to tell you in the document that, hey, these are trained people, right? And that they're reliable. But then they also tell you the ones that they figured out. right? Some were hoaxes, some were this, some were that, but we still have all these other ones, 210 incidents, and they eliminated what, 13 of them? That's still only 10% explained, the rest 90% unexplained. I find that very interesting. And some of them right around the time of Roswell. Super interesting, right? Literally right around the time of Roswell, the day before. So that's interesting for sure. The Kenneth Arnold thing is interesting. Is that the same Kenneth Arnold? Right? Hang on, let me look something up. Yeah. So that same, so Kenneth Arnold, so they're putting the Kenneth Arnold sighting, the famous Kenneth Arnold sighting, in that report. It's in that report, which is interesting. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, I admit. It's not given as much detail as came out later about it, but it is in that report. So clearly it was deemed pretty credible. That should add some credibility to that sighting from Kenneth Arnold, right? Which is, right, so on June 24, 1947, private pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing 9 shiny, fast-moving objects flying in formation near Mount Rainier, Washington. A description of the objects skipping like saucers across water led to the press coining the term flying saucer, officially launching the modern UFO era, right? So what launched the term flying saucer is in that report, the Kenneth Arnold report. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. But clearly he wasn't the only one, right? And, you know, they call them unidentified flying objects and all of this stuff. Very interesting. Just saying. That's super interesting. All right, let me see. Let's see what else there is. Man, there's a lot here, y'all. Okay. We're not going to be able to go through all of this, but hang on. Okay, hang on. Y'all can see that. Okay, great. Project Sign. This is an initial report on unidentified flying objects as directed by headquarters. United States Air Force letter dated 30th of December, 1947, signed by General Craigie, subject flying discs. Quarterly reports will be submitted beginning July 1st, 1948. As a result of this letter, Project HT304 was activated on the 26th of January, 1948. Present files on Project Sign represent a consolidation of reports received directly by HQ, AMC, and those forwarded by the Director of Intelligence, United States Air Force. This says schedule of activities of lighted night flying advertising blinds have been secured and cross-checked at this headquarters to consider them as a possible source of incident reports. The following is a series of interesting observations that were noted when reviewing the many incident cases. High rate of climb, as well as the apparent ability to remain motionless or hover for considerable length of time. The object was described as being oval, disc, or saucer-shaped 31 times. Associated sound was present 11 times. Reported sightings have varied from that of a 25-cent piece to 250 feet in diameter. That sounds like just literally in the size of a pursuit plane to the bulk of 6 B-29 airplanes. Well, that's literally the same literally the same wording. So July 8th, 1947, there are, look at all these incidents. That's Roswell, just FYI. Muroc Airfield, Muroc, California. Look at all these incidents. Interesting. You know what's not in this? Let me just make sure before I say that. You know what I'm not seeing? You know what's not included here? Let's see if somebody can figure it out. Roswell. Why wouldn't Roswell be in here? All right. Why wouldn't Roswell be in here? Why wouldn't Roswell be in the other document we looked at? Huh. That's interesting. I got to think about that. Why isn't Roswell in this? Right? I mean, it was put in the newspaper. Yes, they went back on it the next day or whatever, but why wouldn't that sighting be in here? It's kind of interesting. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things here. Traveling in a zigzag course, climbing, diving, and reversal of direction, which happened every few seconds, shooting towards the east at 45-degree angles, descending vertically, seemed to slow down on nearing the earth. Right? Captain, railroad employees, captain of the Air Force, right? Major. Disc, saucer shaped, thin metallic object, unconventional shape, aluminum color surface, silvery, reflected the sun's rays, white aluminum, yellowish white sphere, 5 feet in diameter, disc, 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 saucer, like flock of geese, like a new dime, disc, ball, like cigars, much longer than wide, half circle, circle in shape. Egg-shaped discs, color phosphorus. These are all the numbers of incidents. That's 70, 80, 90, 100, and then more. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So, no, incident number 18. It has now been definitively determined that both the photograph and story were a hoax perpetrated for publicity and money. You see, people do hoax this stuff, but it also, to be fair, seems like that's a rare thing, but that it does happen. So it's something to consider, but not necessarily an explanation for all of them. Not even close, right? It's one of these incidents. Incident number 84, the person making the report on this incident was determined to be an excitable person, very talkative, and possessing an exaggerated imagination and inclined to impress people with his continuous chatter. What? Oh, that sounds like me. That's okay. That is interesting. All right, let's go to what's incident 18. Trail streaming out behind like vapor trail behind airplane on misty day. Toronto, west of Toronto. Okay, seen over west end of Toronto. Okay, interesting. All right, well, at least they put that in there. That's so weird, right? So these are all the directions of flight from all the incidents. That's an interesting way to do it. Oh, here we go. What we got? Oh, we saw some of these images, I think. There it is in the bottom left-hand corner. Yeah, Mr. Rhodes. We saw that. Huh. Exhibit A. Look at that thing. That looks like one of those experimental aircrafts with the back. It also looks like Batman. Yeah, it looks like this, exactly. Not saying it is that, just saying it does look like that. Look at this thing. Huh. So they just had some weird ass aircrafts back then. They're just trying things. This is the the Wild West of flying, trying all kinds of different shaped craft and a Russian parabola glider of 1924. See, these are the interesting things to know. The biology of the flying saucer. Look at this. An American flying flapjack with 2 engines. It crashed while under test, 1938. They mentioned that before, the flapjack. Interesting. Okay. All right. Okay. Um, let's see here. Let's get rid of that. Let me oh, there's so many. There's so many PDFs here, y'all. Let's see if there's anything. Let's bring this up. Let's see if there. Let's just check real quick. Make sure there's not anything interesting we could take a look at real quick. If there is, we'll look at it. All right, this is a memorandum. All right, I can't even read that. Let's hang on. Analysis. Ugh, can't even. Best copy available. Yeah. All right. It's from the CIA. That's what I just looked at. Department of Energy, Department of War. Analysis of flying object incidents from 1948. So it's not like there's another one of those. Let me see something. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm looking at. These are some of the basically the exact same incidents. Yeah, we already saw those. We read all this. Yeah, we saw this. Okay. Yeah. All right. Looks like gonna be all I'm showing. There's a few other things, but not really. We actually got most of it, which is incredible. But I think some of those incidents were the most interesting. Let's see. All right, let's just hang out for a little bit here and kind of decompress. And I'll tell you what, let me take a 2-minute break. We're going to come back and decompress, chat. Let's hang out for a little bit. But I need a bathroom break, y'all, real quick. And I need to refill my coffee. So give me a couple minutes. Let me see. You know what I'm going to do? Just to have something in the background. Okay. Let me play some of the NASA audio. And, you know, at least it's something. But I'll be right back. Live streaming ain't easy, y'all. It can't be easy watching either, I gotta admit. So thank y'all so much for hanging out and sticking this through with me here. Make sure to hit that like button for me, y'all, on the video if you can. It's free. Just hit the like button. That helps out. It helps out more than you know, to be honest with you. All right, let's play this, and then I'll be back. Just literally a couple minutes here.
We're picking up at 12-0, liftoff rendezvous and docking. And again, where things went nominal, as per the checklist, we're going to get the lunar surface checklist here. Absolutely. Okay, we're going to say so. 11 power up. And launch prep went well. We did not do the P-22. And everything else just went as advertised on the limb. She came up and powered up beautifully. Anything in there that's worth going through? Okay, the liftoff was went normal. We got obviously all our pyros, and we lost no changeover Parker valves or anything. The only thing that I would like to mention, let the Allen Pete pick it up here, is that very soon after liftoff, we had apparent loss of comm, a lot of noise in the S-band. It turned out that we were downlinking, but there was something wrong with the uplink. So the CDR watched most of the guidance and could call out in the blind altitudes and goes and what have you as we pitched over and pressed on up. But for about the first 2 or 3 minutes, I think the lunar module pilot had to concern himself with trying to get comm back.
Yeah, and again, it was apparently Goddard, or Goldstone, dropped the uplink, and then when they were getting it back, I was switching on these, and for a while there, it was just completely out of phase. And but they were kind of had a continuous downlink.
It was a very inopportune time, I might say, because it happened just right after ignition.
I think that's something, though, that the INCOs are going to be able to clarify, because we certainly can't give you the details. It just there was essentially no comm on all the antennas.
We got into they briefed us on a trajectory. We flew into a trajectory that appeared to be nominal. The ag showed us slide out of plane, I believe, and as a result, our tweak at 9 foot per second. It was -4, -9, and +1. We burned out X, Z, Y in that order, and it looked like the eggs out of plane indication was good.
About 7 feet per second, a little over 7 feet.
And it looked like we might have had a somewhat a G-sensitive drift in our Y accelerometer and the pings, but the tweak, as it turned out, was an excellent tweak because our rendezvous resulted in just as nominal a rendezvous and a nominal trajectory and profile as I guess I've ever been involved with. The drift in that accelerometer did not bother us anywhere else in the tracking or in the rendezvous at all. Rendezvous navigation was followed a checklist. We got radar performed very well. We had auto updates into the AGS. The only thing I might mention here is when it came to making a TPI burn, the residuals in the TPI burn were greater than what I had expected them, and we did not record them because I wanted to get them nulled out just as soon as possible, but they were, and I don't know the tenths, but they were -7 in X, and then they were 4 and 4, and I'm not sure whether they were plus or minus in Y and Z, but they were, the point I'm making is they were larger than I had expected. They were -7 and a 4 point something and a 4 point something.
Okay. Let's get back out of that. All right, let's hang out for a bit and kind of just go over, decompress a little bit from this. Jason says, too much gray in the beard. Embrace your age, bro. What are you talking about? What you talking about, Jason? Yes, I shaved. I just grow out and then I shave. I grow it out and then I shave. I don't know about y'all, but I hate shaving. I hate it. Zaparge, Saparu. Patrick, great job laughing about orbs. They've been around a long time. 1500s in Nuremberg, WW2 Foo Fighters, 1952 DC orbs, and Beatrice V research showing objects way before any tech explanation. Okay. Patrick, please tell me the name of the music you use at the end of your videos. Thanks. It doesn't have a name. I made it with AI. As a Jason, I agree with the other Jason. Let the gray hairs flow. Oh, I don't color my hair, y'all. See the gray? See the, let me see. See the, some gray there? Some gray there? Yeah, I don't color the hair, y'all. All right, so yeah, hit me with some thoughts. If you saw a something that interests you, a story, yeah, you know, what was interesting to you. I'll bring it up. I'll highlight your comment here. Patrick, the pilot who died chasing the UFO was Thomas Mantell from Kentucky. Flew too high, passed out, and crashed. Yeah, that's in the report, right? The Anoxia or whatever it's called, for sure. Not the UFO didn't run into him or anything or shoot him down. Yes, he ran out of oxygen, or or at least to the brain, right? Passed out, yeah, and he crashed. But what's interesting is his last comment to the tower and what he was chasing. That's what's interesting about the story. But it's good to know his name, Thomas Mantell. Very cool. Yeah, the Beatrice Villarreal stuff is interesting. I agree. Very interesting. One of the most scientific endeavors about UAP, period, is her work, to be honest with you. There needs to be more stuff like what she's doing. I joined late. What did you think about the jellyfish UAP? I didn't see one jellyfish UAP in this. Is it the one that was like a balloon at the beginning that we showed? I don't know if that's a jellyfish. Not in my opinion. But to each their own. That's the whole thing. A lot of this is subject to interpretation, right? So you may think it's a jellyfish. I don't. Someone else thinks it's something else, and blah blah blah. Which is again why I push for context around those videos. You get no context. What, 3 of them had reports? They should all have reports and more information. They would be way more compelling. Con, what's up, Con? Good to see you, man. Disclosure of the blobs. Yeah, that's what we got. Yeah, the videos to me were not interesting at all whatsoever. The one I'm interested in knowing about were 2. Was the one that was all weird, like a blob, that they said was like a deflated balloon. That was weird looking. I admit. I would be curious to know what that is. And the one that was like a Rorschach image. And then the other one was it had the red dot, remember? And then this thing flew by and like looked like it shot out a missile. I don't know what's going on there, but I would like to know more information on that, because that was just interesting for that reason in and of itself. I like the PDFs. Those were great. I'll have to dig into those. Yeah, that seems to be the most interesting so far to me, especially the one that I read out the most. What's interesting is the Los Alamos one that I read out first. It did actually state something about Roswell. You know what? Let's see if I can find that, because that was interesting. The Roswell stuff is interesting because the other one that had all the incidents from literally the dates around Roswell and on the date of Roswell, there's no mention of Roswell in any of those files. None of them. Right? So why? All right. Give me a second here. Let's see. See if I can bring up that part about Roswell that's in the Los Alamos one. I forgot about that. All right. Let's do this. Okay. Can I search this thing? Maybe a way to search, right? Guys, I'm an idiot. Okay, I don't know how to search. Is it? All right, let's see if that's it. Yep. There we go. So Roswell, can y'all see that? Let's do this. Let me zoom in. I'm just saying there's a mention of Roswell in the Los Alamos PDF, right? There's a conference on aerial phenomena. So right here it says, in certain cases independently, that was confirmed by a visit of Lieutenant Ryan of the Roswell Group, right? So nothing there. For instance, the best case of all near Amherst or Noise, the observer, it's true, was only a 10-year-old boy, but he wrote a very intelligent letter, and it is well known that children, like animals, are more sensitive to sound than people who've listened for too many years, say, to the radio. It appeared conceivable that he had actually made a sound observation, but Lieutenant Ryan went to Amsterdam, found that even 3 members of the family were not able to confirm his observation of noise, and no one in the town, some 300 or 400 persons, no one at all had heard a sound except for this one little boy. Okay, that's interesting. Let's go number 2. Okay, with one exception, Dr. La Paz, in the case of Roswell, there are 2 types of sound associated with meteorite falls, and I assume associated with the motion of very high velocity projectile or missile through the air. So basically, it's almost like they're saying that Roswell is a projectile, right, or a missile. So that's interesting. So I would check that out. So it's page 7 on the PDF. itself. Check that out. A mention of Roswell there. And then, so again, brings it up again. Dr. La Paz. So let's just read this. In the case of the Roswell observation apparently that occurred, we have a group of 5 men. They were near a steel smokestack, and every last one of them swears that they heard at the same time they were watching the green fireball go by, a noise like, say, a gasoline blowtorch. That is certainly not an ordinary explosive sound. One more thing in connection with the noises and every other meteorite fall. Any one meteorite that I've investigated that covers many years, I've never yet found an occasion of a detonating fireball without meteorites coming down at all, in which they were not the same evidence of alarm of animals. Chickens will fly around to try to get under cover. Dogs will howl and try to get into the house. Horses will run away. In the case of the Texas fall, in spite of the tremendous areas in which the light was observed, we found not a single case in which the animals were disturbed. But I don't know. So that's interesting. They do bring up Roswell in this. Are they talking about the same Roswell incident? The Roswell observation? Is that the same Roswell incident? I don't know. But interesting nonetheless. All right. So we tied that up. Zaparu, Patrick, my question was looking for your thoughts because it seems like you think the orbs is the easy go-to for fake stuff. How do you explain those? Well, I can't explain them. You can't either. That's the whole point. They're unexplained, right? So I really just don't know what you're referring to. Is it something I said in my video yesterday that if I was going to fake UFO sightings, balls of light, quote, orbs would be the best way to fake? Yes. It doesn't mean that there aren't legitimate sightings of, quote, balls of light or, quote, orbs, right? So I hope that answers the question, but of course I can't explain them. Of course there's been things unexplained since the dawn of man. That doesn't mean alien. Right? It could be, but it's not all the possibilities. Unexplained is just that. It's unexplained, right? That's kind of the whole point. But I wasn't laughing at the idea of orbs. That's not what I did. And again, what I said was if I was going to fake UFO sightings, lights would be the easiest way to do it. And people like to bring up plasmoid beings, orbs. I just don't even think people know what they're saying when they say that, right? And people fill in the gaps and, all of that sort of stuff. So I don't know. But yes, there's been, just like we just read, balls of light, all kinds of different things. The Foo Fighter stuff. There's probably lights going back a long time. Some of them probably have prosaic explanations. Let's be real. They can't all be, if you believe in alien orbs, all the sightings that have ever happened in the history of man can't be alien orbs. So some of them would have to be prosaic. The question is what percentage, and are any of them alien? What would lead you to believe that they're alien? Because meteorites were also falling down at that time, comets, all kinds of different things, atmospheric anomalies that people back in those days would not understand at all. It hasn't even been that long before we just figured out the Earth is round and that we orbit the sun. If you compare it to the history of man, right? It's in just the last little bit of time. So, but nonetheless, there are some interesting things about it for sure. All right, let's see here. Have heard Patrick shut down people on his channel for little cuss words, yet he swears like a sailor. That is not true. Show me some evidence of that. Not true. Now, if one of my moderators in the chat has done something, that's different. I don't speak for them. and I let the moderators do whatever they want. I don't moderate the moderators. They do a job for free. They don't get paid. So I don't monitor them, and I let them do whatever they want, essentially within reason. Pretty much I just tell them to leave things alone unless it's disruptive. So if you're being disruptive and using, quote, curse words, then yeah, what's the point? You don't come to a party and shit in the punch bowl. But of course, curse words are allowed. Nobody would ever say that. So not sure where you're getting that, David Marpole. Did you cover the 1955 KC-97 encounter near Newfoundland record? Yes, I think we did go over that. I'm not sure. There's a lot. I can't really remember. Patrick, I thought the Arnold signing was a day before Roswell in the report. It's after, or I'm wrong. That's interesting. I don't know. That's a good question. I can't remember now. I can't remember, and damn it. Now you want me. Now I gotta look that up. So I can't let that go. All right, I see what you're saying. We can do this quickly. It was in this one, right? Yes. Boom, boom. All right, let's see here. Hang on. No, this says on July 29th, 1947, Kenneth, let's zoom in on it. On July 29, 1947, Kenneth Arnold, while flying near Tacoma, Washington, reported a formation of flying objects. His sketch of their shape corresponds closely to that shown in the photographs made by Mr. Rhodes. So this says July 29th, but that's interesting. Huh. So that's interesting. Okay, so this is a different Kenneth Arnold sighting. So the original Kenneth Arnold sighting was from June 24th, 1947, near Mount Rainier, Washington. So still in Washington. But this one that's in this report is Kenneth Arnold making another sighting on July 29th, basically a little over a month later. That is interesting. Right? So the guy who coined the term flying saucer, we just found another Kenneth Arnold sighting. This is not the same one. All right, that's interesting. That is interesting. Good job bringing that up. Good job with that question. A reporter coined flying saucer. That's true. That is true. He described it as saucer. You're right. The reporter is the one that did that. You're right. You're right. Good stipulation. Vetted. Got vetted. Arnold is sus. He knew people. Yeah, he said they skipped like saucers. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. But it was based off of his sighting, right? So vetted Android. What's up, Android? Maybe the person writing the report just got the date wrong. Same guy, same location. It's possible. That's possible. He does say a formation, just like this other sighting was a formation. But that's quite a big difference to get off because he got the date wrong and the month wrong. But it is possible. So you could be right, Android, 100%. And it could be just another sighting from Kenneth Arnold a month later. David Marple's back, y'all. He says, in your early days, you did shy down people for cussing, and I will bring you proof. Okay, good luck. Good luck, bro. Oh, this guy's that's his investigative work, y'all. Old Marples. Old Marple lost his marbles. New t-shirt idea. Tranche, baby. Yeah, that's funny. That's right. Tranche. Jeremy, what's up, Jeremy? He says, we don't believe this is the big event Luna was hinting at, right? It could be. Yeah, this could be the big announcement that Representative Luna was hinting at. Released a video yesterday about this. If you want, watch that video and see if you think this is it, that she knew the fourth tranche file was coming. She said this would prove the phenomena is real, but she also said it was nothing. I don't know if this proves the phenomena is real. It might prove that there is unexplained things. But again, we already knew that. People know that. Just by default, just statistically speaking, there will be things unexplained. Right? We don't have all the knowledge that there is to know. One, we don't even know the breadth of knowledge that there is to know. So even if we reach the end, we wouldn't even know. So again, statistically speaking, there would be unexplained things, right? But again, like I've said before, and I'm interested in some of these unexplained things. Don't get me wrong, especially that PDF to describe some incidents that were very fascinating to me. But remember, whistleblowers have come out claiming that there are things that aren't unexplained, that they're explained as alien, right? We have alien bodies. They're not unidentified. They're not unexplained. They're not ambiguous. They have beings that are not humans, that are intelligent, not from this earth or from this earth, but another dimension, another time, crypto-terrestrial, whatever. Not humans. That we have bodies. We have craft, right? Alien spacecraft. That's not unexplained. They say they have that. That's what we want to see. That's the indisputable proof. They keep showing us things that are unexplained, which again is interesting, but you can't show me that while you've claimed these other big things. If you've never claimed the big things, the explained stuff that you say that you have, the IFOs, the identified flying objects, the alien spacecraft and bodies, if you had never claimed that, and you were just saying, well, there's just a bunch of stuff, we don't know what's going on, then we would be more excited about the things that are unexplained and we don't know what's going on. But again, whistleblowers have come out and claimed there's a secret program, reverse engineering, alien tech, all these things. Where's that evidence? They just keep showing us the, quote, unexplained things, right? It's almost like, well, you shouldn't have come out and said the other stuff, because that's what people are going to want to see. Why do they want to see stuff we can't explain when you say you have things that are explained and they are alien? We'll get to the unexplained stuff later. Let's get to the stuff you've worked out. You know what I mean? It's like if we're looking for a needle in a haystack and you say, we have the needle. Why would I keep searching for the needle in the haystack then? If you say you have the needle, what's the point? That's a waste of time to then be looking in the haystack for the needle when you say you found the needle, right? Oh, there's more needles. Well, great. We'll get to those later. Let's see the needle you found. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit longer here. 10 more minutes and then I'm out. 3-hour live stream is a lot for me, y'all. Okay, I'm old. Remember, I'm gray hair. Based on everything, Stuart Hodson, based on everything you have heard, what probability do you place on aliens visiting us now? 20-80 against 50-50 or 80-20 in favor? Okay, I see what you're saying here. The probability. I mean, oh, you're not going to like this answer, man. It's still 0. Because for me, it's all or nothing. And that's okay. That's just me personally. I'm all or nothing. You know what I mean? I'm 100% or 0%. And I have seen no indisputable proof that that is true. So I'm still at 0%, but I will go to 100% like that. You know what I mean? I will immediately. It's a switch on a like a light switch. A light is either on or off. There's no in between. Patrick, there's dimmers. Okay, just move with the metaphor I'm trying to use here. I'm just 0 by default, right? I'm 0 by default until it happens, and then I'll switch over. Now, with that said, what do I want? I want it to be true, right? Clearly, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here for. And there is a lot of compelling evidence. I'm not saying there isn't. There's just nothing indisputable, and that's what I'm looking for. But there's enough compelling evidence to keep me interested in this topic and to keep me interested in searching, for sure, without a doubt. And I'm fairly confident that, one, we're not alone in the universe, right? I don't think we're the only life that exists on Earth. And I know we don't have all the knowledge of our reality. I'm pretty confident of that. I'm pretty confident we don't understand the mind, consciousness, right? There's a lot of things that we don't understand. So there probably is something else. It's just, I've seen no evidence, indisputable proof that aliens are on Earth, me personally. And for me, it's a personal journey everyone should take. I don't judge anyone who says, no, Patrick, I believe there's aliens on Earth. Okay, I don't judge you. That's great. I'm not going to call you crazy. I'm going to say, that's what you think. That's great. I don't think that. And that's okay. It should be a personal thing, and we should allow ourselves some room to have our own beliefs. Especially if you're the type of person who is a believer and who's had an experience, and you complain about a stigma that people laugh at you for your beliefs, or you're afraid to bring them up, or this or that, and you wish more people would listen to you and try to understand you, then you can't get mad at people who don't believe, because it's the same thing. It's just a different side of the coin, right? And there had to have been a time in your life, when I say you, I don't mean you specifically, I mean the general you, that you didn't believe, that maybe you hadn't had that experience yet, right? So again, it's a journey for everyone. Eventually that light switch gets flicked for everyone, or not. But there's always the moment where you're in the dark, right? And that could be it. And having a personal experience is not enough to convince me. Your personal experience, no offense. Whoever, and I don't mean you again, I mean the general you. I want to see indisputable proof that the world accepts. That's different. That doesn't require me to, quote, believe. It just is true. We have a moon, we have a sun. It doesn't matter if I believe that or not. It exists. Life on Earth, humans, whether I believe, what if someone's like, I don't believe humans exist? Well, it's not true. We clearly exist, right? So I want it to be something that has nothing to do with my belief or believing someone for something this extraordinary to be true, right? This is too much. You're not telling me a review of a restaurant you want me to go try out. I'll take your word for it if you tell me it's awesome. Okay, I'll go try it out. I'll take your word. But what I'm not going to do is take someone's word when they're like, no, aliens are on Earth. Sorry. That's too much. I need to see. It's too impactful for me to just take people's word for it, unfortunately. But that's a great question, honestly. And I know a lot of people probably fall somewhere in there, and I may think differently about it. I don't know what to tell you. I'm fucking weird. Oh shit, Marble's gonna come after me. I said fucking y'all. Careful. We got the word police out here. Android, did you see the 3 photos of the triangle craft taken by the Columbia Space Shuttle astronauts? Impressive, in my opinion. Yes. Yeah, we looked over that. We looked at the 3 photos. It's interesting. I don't know if it's a triangle craft, right? And I don't think that can be confirmed that that's a triangle craft, right? There needs to be way more data than that. Because to me it looked like a pencil head, right? We don't know the shape. We don't know the 3-dimensional shape to that. So it could be more like this, right? And if I just show you that looks like a triangle, right? But it's not a triangle, right? You see that? You see, it's this shape. This is the front of this, which could be part of the craft that they flew out in, right? Could be part of booster, could be part of this, I'm just saying. I don't know if it's necessarily a triangle in that sense. So I don't know, but I saw it. Is it interesting? Sure. Is there any more data on it? Any more context? No. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. It just goes in the I saw it pile. Jerky bacon. Are you saying that the 4th dump of UFO UAP files have been dropped today? Is that what the video is saying? I'm reading your video title, or is it just clickbait discussion title? Huh? Where have you been, Jerky? It's 3 hours into the stream, bro. We already did it. We already looked at it. Try going back to the beginning. Yes, we went over the stuff. Come on, y'all. Let's use our noggins. Let's use our noggins. Right? Maybe too much jerky bacon, bro. Oh, good Lord. That guy's gone. Guys, if you just spam the same comment over again, I'm just gonna. What's the point of that? All right, 1.5 minutes. This guy says, look in the trees. That's where they are. They shapeshift to look like leaves, branches. Sounds crazy, but I swear. Oh, okay. You swear, Mark? Well, if you swear, then it's probably true, right? That's funny. But hey, have at it. Old David Marples is back. Will you let me know if I can come on your show and prove you called out a couple listeners for cussing earlier on your show and yet you have different rules, or did you change them? Marples, let it go, bro. What are you doing? You think I'm gonna let you come on the show? Are you insane? Dog, like find something better to do with your life, bro. One, you're on a UFO channel talking UFOs. Okay, We're all the misfits here. We're all a little crazy just for doing that, myself included. And you want to focus on this, bro? You know what I mean? This is why you probably got banned, because you're disruptive. This has nothing to do with anything. You know what I mean? Like, let it go. How old are you? Are you a grown man doing this? This is absolutely insane. It's just absolutely insane, bro. Let it go, Marples. That's what I would say. Let it go, or keep talking about it. Have at it. I don't care. All right, y'all. It's 3 hours. I'm beat. I got a video to make for later. Got a few different topics that I want to discuss, so don't know what I'm going to put out. I also have some interviews that I recorded that I never released that I'm going to be releasing soon. So I don't know what's going to come out today, but I definitely have a video. I have a video coming out every day for a while, to be honest with you, taking that 2-week break. I know I put out a couple videos, but still, I feel like I feel energized to, pump out some content. But Spain is playing tonight at 9. So I may not be able to put out a video today. It may not be till tomorrow. We'll see. I can't miss the World Cup in Spain playing. So we'll see what happens. I did this video today, this 3-hour stream. So this might count for my video for today. But I want to thank everyone for taking the time out of their day. I know y'all are busy. You have lots of stuff going on. Unless you're David Marples, then you just don't have anything going on with your life. But for the rest of y'all that have things going on with your life, I appreciate you showing up here, sitting with me through all of that. That was a lot to deal with. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for sitting through it with me. That makes it so much easier, y'all, because I'd have to just do that on my own. So I'm glad y'all were able to join me. Y'all asked some really good questions. Y'all brought up some really good points. And I appreciate that, to be honest with you. It's always a great conversation. I really appreciate everything that you guys do to bring the conversation forward. And I realize some of y'all are frustrated. I feel the frustration as well. So it's all good. What are we supposed to do? We got to keep moving along. No matter how frustrated we get, we got to keep pushing, right? And demanding better evidence. There's nothing wrong with that. That frustration, we just need to use it in a positive way. Use that frustration to push for more evidence, demand more evidence. And the reason people get frustrated, right, like yourself, like me, is because we care. If we didn't care, we wouldn't get frustrated, right? It would just be like, well, who gives a fuck, right? We just wouldn't care. But the reason we get frustrated is because we care. And we deserve to know the truth if it's being hidden from us. Full stop. So don't let that frustration discourage you, and don't let someone use that frustration against you. Oh, you shouldn't be frustrated, this and that, you're the negative. No, fuck that. You're allowed to think however you want. Everyone gets frustrated a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with being frustrated by some bullshit they're feeding you. There's nothing wrong with calling it out. If you were at a restaurant, you ordered chicken, whatever, and they brought it to you and the chicken is raw, are you going to eat it? Or are you going to send it back? Right? There's nothing wrong with saying, this isn't right. It's that simple. We're not nitpicking here. Right? This isn't nitpicking. This is real. And this is important. And we deserve more. You deserve more. And don't be afraid to demand it. All right, y'all. Thank y'all again. We'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, wait, real quick. I got a couple of super chats. I can't just ignore these. Bagel Bros. We'll try to rephrase previous question. If you were forced to assign a probability and assume we get definitive answer in 12 months, what number would you put? Fuck. I was forced to assign a probability and assume we get a definitive answer in 12 months. What number would you put? Well, we get a definitive answer in 12 months. I'm just going to be honest here. I'm going to say 2% possibility that we get a definitive answer in 12 months. 2%, 1%, just to have something on it, just to leave the possibility open. I don't think it's a high possibility, at least not coming from the government. To me, the only real disclosure, more than likely, the quickest way for it to happen, citizen disclosure, right? Not the government, citizen disclosure or NHI disclosure. The aliens reveal themselves. And who knows when that would happen, right? It's too hard. But just what I see on the surface, if I'm basing it off that, and that's the wheelhouse I'm playing in, that's the sandbox I'm playing in, yeah, I give it a 1% to 2% chance happening in the next 12 months. Hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm really wrong. I hope I'm wrong tomorrow. Hope I'm wrong later this afternoon. I hope it happens later. But thank you for your question, Bagel Bros. Really appreciate it. Again, thank you, everyone. We'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. If you want, check out my merch. A lot of people have been buying a lot of the stuff, and I really appreciate everyone's support. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that much support with the merch, so thank you guys very much. It seems to be everyone's enjoying it. Go to vettedmerch.store. You can get a hat like this. I got all kinds of other stuff on there, so check it out if you want. And my Vetted's very first feature documentary, Psionics, is out now on our website, psionics.film. You can get it. And so many people have been supporting that as well. I am in the planning stages for shooting the next documentary that Vetted's going to be doing, so I'm very excited about that, especially all the support around this first documentary. We're doing another one, and I'll have some more information on that very, very soon. So thank you guys for the support. Really appreciate it. We'll see you guys on the next one. I'm going to leave you all with the trailer for Psionics. So remember, go to psionics.film if you want to see the full movie. Here's the trailer. We'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace. For years, mankind has explored hidden powers of the mind. Most dismissed it as science fiction.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what we're doing believing in all this nonsense over all these years.
But what if they were wrong? What if you could summon UFOs? With your mind. What if you had the power inside of you all this time? Would you try it? Would you be afraid? Or would you just go for it?
Because these are going nuts.
They're going off.
When you interact with them, you form a bond. Oh no, you can't record any of this.
Yeah, turn it off for a second.
Controversial, huh? That's my middle name.
It's like it turned on and got brighter for 1 second.
Yeah.
I know there's aliens inside there.
Did you see that, Patrick? Oh my god.
Did you hear that? Something is in the bushes right behind you here.
I'm ready to see something. If you're willing to show it to me, I'm open. I just want to see what you are. And I look up, and there are these orange lights that are just drifting above the tree line.
I just don't even know what I'm doing with my life.